year she will begin working, God willing, at the clinic in her hometown. This is really almost unheard of in Guatemala for a woman from an indigenous community to not only go to medical school, but then afterwards to return to her village. Very few of the doctors in Guatemala actually go back to their villages. Most of them stay in kind of the urban core of the country, where it's easier for them to establish a clinic and then to make money. But in Juanita's case, because this clinic has been established specifically to reach the rural areas of Guatemala, the underserved areas, there is a place for Juanita to go back and serve, not for pay. You know, she and I both work through the Orthodox Christian Mission Center, which provides for our needs. But she will go back to work basically as a volunteer at this clinic to provide medical care in an area that is almost entirely indigenous. People speak the Chuj language, and that's Juanita's first language. So for her, she speaks Chuj. She learned Spanish in school. Now she is at the cusp of becoming fluent in English. So she will go back and speak in Chuj, especially with the women and children of that area who often aren't really able to engage with nurses or doctors in Spanish. So that's a little bit about both of us and our ministries in Guatemala. We are sent to Guatemala by communities in the United States to help and assist the local church. I always remind people that in the fullest sense, the missionaries are Bishop Ocios and the priests, these incredible men who, men and women too, and the local leaders, the local lay leaders of these communities. These are the incredible missionaries, and we're sent down as missionaries from the United States to assist in these incredible efforts in God's vineyard. So in order for us to be able to work in the mission field, we rely on support from communities in the United States. Missionaries who work across the world, like Father Juvenal, like us, like those who go to Africa, to Albania, we all go around the United States humbly requesting prayers, love, support from people across the U.S. who would like to be a part of the mission field, but are called to live here, to work here in your own communities. Yet still, the communities here in the United States can be a part of what God is doing across the world by helping to send missionaries out into the field. And that's the only way for us to go. There's no endowment fund. There's no huge scholarship fund for missionaries to go out to the field. We rely on churches in the United States who make it possible for us to go and live abroad for periods of 2 to 3 years at a time. So Juanita and I are in that process now. We're raising support to be able to go back to the mission field next year for another 3 years of service. So we humbly invite all of you to come with us as our partners in this journey, to be our missionary, our fellow missionaries, even from here in Poulsbo, by praying for us, and we invite you to support us as well financially in whatever way you're able to do. So I'd like to share with all of you, maybe somebody might be willing to help me pass these out. These are our prayer cards. Unfortunately, little Matthew is not yet present on the card. Maybe we'll have to send out little stickers or something on the card. Next time we'll have this updated. He was so little when we started our journey. But these are our prayer cards. On the back of it, you can find information for how to contact us. And if you prefer to support us by going online, at the very bottom, you can see where to do that. ocmc.org/Jesse and Juanita. You'll see that at the bottom. And so you can take these, put them on your icon corner, on your fridge, wherever you'd like, if you'd like to continue to keep us in your prayers. And then behind this, you'll see a little envelope that is what OCMC uses for those who would like to support missionaries. So this envelope goes to OCMC, but it's already earmarked. You can see our names on it so that your support goes specifically to the account that's set up for our annual budget, for our needs in the mission field. And we especially encourage people to consider supporting us on a monthly basis. Even if it's a small amount, this is really the most powerful way to support us, because we're going back for 3 more years. And it's really helpful for us to have people on a monthly basis supporting us with a small pledge. And then that is a reminder both for all of you and for us to be together in prayer as well. So we invite all of you, if you'd like, to set up a monthly pledge, which you can do with a credit card. You can fill it out right here. And then you can either send this in, or you could just leave it up here as well, and I can deliver these to OCMC.
So the way it works, Jesse, is this money goes to OCMC. OCMC in turn kind of sends that to
That's
you
exactly
to
right.
support you and Jesse.
That's exactly right, yes.
Yeah.
All of the money goes through OCMC as a nonprofit, and OCMC is
And they're
the one.
located in Florida?
That's right.
Uh-huh,
Yep.
yeah.
They're located in St. Augustine, Florida. And then every year they set up a budget for every missionary, for their basic needs, and then also specific funds to support their ministry, or also, like, we're traveling in the United States, to help us with our costs as we visit churches in the U.S. For things like this, or for things like our health care, for example, when we're in the mission field, and also for missionaries who are kind of, long-term kind of career missionaries, like Juanita and me. There's also an account set up eventually for a retirement fund for us too. So the needs are actually much higher than people expect, because this is really what we do. This is, we could call it our profession, this is our vocation. And so people who support us provide for all of these needs that we have, from our daily living expenses to health care, and eventually to retirement and things like this. So that's why we really do visit a lot of churches in the United States, and we invite people to help support us on a monthly basis. So if you wouldn't mind helping me pass this out, thank you so much. And I would love to take any questions that people have. Please, don't be shy. Yes, please, Reader Fioler.
Now you mentioned something that Father Juvenali talked about when he was here. They had a seminary going to train local priests. Is that still going on? Or?
So that is a really important point. Father Juvenal, myself, and at the time there were 3 other missionaries who were located in Guatemala. On a full-time basis, and we worked together to create our own seminary curriculum, and we taught this to a small group of seminarians, of whom 1 has become a priest now, and 2 have become deacons. So there's been fruit from that program by God's grace. And so that seminary program has concluded, basically. That group of seminarians, we saw them through the program. And now there is it's kind of gone up a notch. Now the new metropolitan who has come on, is trying to create a more permanent program for training seminarians. And we are waiting to see what's going to develop. He came in 2 years ago, and there's hope that there will be more of a formal seminary program located at that formation center that you've seen. So all of this is in the works right now, and so I would say that those efforts are kind of on pause for the moment. But that initial cohort that we saw them through, and by God's grace there's been fruit in that program.
That's right. What's in broad terms, what's a normal day like for you, or a normal week like for you? What do you do?
Yeah, well, so we've lived all across Guatemala during my wife's medical school program. Since we got married, we've moved 7 times. We've lived, one place was in the capital city, which was, kind of dangerous, but more comfortable, if that makes sense. We've lived in tiny, tiny towns that make my wife's hometown looked like New York City. So we've lived everywhere across over the last 6 years of our marriage. So there hasn't been a typical day, but now that we're finally going back to Aguacate, that's where I lived with Father Juvenal before I got married. And a typical day there is more predictable. You know, people tend to get up really early in the morning. The roosters crow. People think they crow at dawn. They don't. They crow at like midnight and 1. But the roosters start crowing and people get up around 5 in the morning. This is a small little mountain village where people communicate with loudspeakers. So in the morning, you'll hear people making announcements in Chuk, in their Mayan language, especially the stores, saying what they have that day. So you'll hear those echoing across the mountainside. And then when we return, my wife will go to the medical clinic to start her day at around 8 in the morning, and she'll work there throughout the day. And then I will either be outside of the village, assisting with the efforts of the priests with teaching, or I'll be there in Aguacate working kind of from home, from the house where we're going to be living, on the translation ministry. And we are going to be living not in our own home. We're going to have a room that we rent from one of Juanita's brothers. So we're kind of part of a multi-generational household. This big household with her parents and 3 different brothers there. So we'll be living there, and it's a farming community. You know, there's chickens walking around. There's so many dogs everywhere. So it's really just it's a very cold area. Unexpectedly maybe it's kind of high in the mountains. It's blanket